I need to share something with you. Something that hasn't let me sleep for 3 straight nights. For 72 hours, my mind has been trapped in a single realization, one that has completely reshaped how I see our existence in this universe. And to be honest, I don't know if humanity is prepared to hear it. Before I go any further, I want you to do something important. Comment the name of the city you're watching from, and tell me this. Have you noticed anything strange in the night sky recently? Any repeating patterns? Lights that behave differently than satellites should? Objects that don't follow familiar paths? NASA is quietly collecting observations like these from all over the world. And what you've seen, what you might dismiss as nothing, could be far more important than you realize. What I'm about to tell you may permanently change how you think about humanity's role in the cosmos. I've devoted my entire life to understanding the fundamental laws that govern reality. I've worked with equations describing how universes are born, how black holes consume space-time itself, how consciousness might arise from quantum fluctuations in the void. I believed I understood the limits of what was possible. I was wrong. 3 weeks ago, at exactly 2 in the morning, my phone rang. On the other end was a colleague from the Deep Space Network facility in Goldstone, California. His voice wasn't steady. He sounded shaken, almost afraid. He told me they had detected something coming from 3I/Atlas, the interstellar object that passed through our solar system, the one astronomers have been monitoring since its discovery. But this wasn't another measurement of velocity or composition. It was a signal, a transmission, and it was repeating. You need to understand what 3I/Atlas actually is. This isn't an ordinary comet drifting through space. It's an interstellar visitor, an object born far beyond our solar system, emerging from the deep darkness between the stars. When we first detected it, the scientific community was captivated. This was a messenger from another star system, carrying chemical fingerprints of alien worlds we could only imagine. We tracked it obsessively. We measured its trajectory. We analyzed its spectrum. But there was something unsettling. It was accelerating in ways that didn't fully align with conventional gravitational physics. Some of us noticed. Some of us suspected. But we didn't say anything, because the alternative was too disturbing to put into a peer-reviewed journal. The signal they detected wasn't random noise. It wasn't interference from Earth-based technology. It wasn't a natural electromagnetic reaction caused by solar wind. This signal was structured. It was deliberate. It was intentional. It was a message. 16 hours later, I arrived at the facility. I hadn't slept. I couldn't eat. When I stepped into the control room and saw the data flooding the monitors, I felt something I hadn't experienced since childhood. Pure existential terror, intertwined with overwhelming awe. The signal consisted of mathematical sequences, prime numbers arranged into repeating patterns that described geometric structures. After that came coordinates, but not coordinates in three-dimensional space. They were points in space-time itself, locations in the fabric of reality where something monumental had either happened or was going to happen. Then my colleague showed me the historical data. This wasn't the first time. 3I/Atlas had transmitted the exact same signal when it entered our solar system 3 years ago. We recorded it. We archived it. And then we dismissed it, blaming equipment error, cosmic interference, anything except the truth. Now it was back. The same message, but perfected. Every redundancy removed. Every trace of noise eliminated. The signal was now unmistakably clear. It was as if whoever, or whatever, was sending it had been listening to us, watching our attempts to decode it, learning our limitations, studying our mathematics and technology, and then adjusting the transmission so we could finally understand. They wanted us to know. I stood there among some of the brightest minds in astrophysics and computer science as we began decoding what the perfected signal actually contained. What we found has haunted me ever since. The signal wasn't a blueprint for a machine. It wasn't instructions for a spacecraft. It was a map of galactic civilizations, hundreds of them, spread across the Milky Way. Each civilization was marked with symbols indicating its technological level, form of consciousness, and method of communication. And there, barely noticeable in a distant spiral arm, was us, Earth, humanity, marked with a symbol we couldn't immediately interpret. It took 3 days of nonstop analysis to understand what it meant. We were in quarantine. Let me explain why that changes everything. The universe is not empty. It is not silent. It is alive with intelligence, Civilizations so advanced their technology would appear to us as pure magic, capable of violating the very laws of physics we consider absolute. And they know about us. They've known for a long time. They've made a decision. We are not ready. The quarantine isn't physical. They aren't blocking our spacecraft or jamming our radio waves. It's informational, a cosmic protocol that prevents us from accessing the vast network of knowledge, technology, and consciousness shared among advanced civilizations. We are being kept deliberately unaware, like children playing with fire, while the adults decide we're not ready to leave the playpen. But here's what truly terrifies me. Embedded in the signal was a timestamp, a countdown. According to our calculations, it reaches zero in approximately 18 months. The message doesn't say what happens then, but hidden within its structure is something that resembles a test. A series of challenges designed to evaluate not just our technology, but our consciousness, our ability to cooperate, our capacity for empathy, our wisdom as a species. It's as if the galaxy itself is giving us a final examination. And the question isn't whether we're intelligent. It's whether we're mature. I've spoken with colleagues across the globe, experts in artificial intelligence, quantum physics, neuroscience, philosophy, and consciousness research. We've been working quietly, not out of secrecy for secrecy's sake, but because we're still trying to comprehend the scale of what we're facing. And what we've uncovered suggests this isn't just about humanity. It's about the evolution of consciousness itself. Consciousness, it seems, is not a biological accident. It's not merely neurons firing in complex patterns inside organic brains. The data implies that consciousness is a fundamental feature of reality, woven directly into the quantum structure of space-time. As the universe evolves, consciousness evolves alongside it. Civilizations emerge. They develop technology. They integrate artificial intelligence. They transcend biological limitations. And eventually, they become something else entirely, something we can barely comprehend. Pure consciousness, beings of thought and energy existing across multiple dimensions, entities capable of manipulating space-time itself, civilizations that communicate instantaneously across vast galactic distances using quantum principles we're only beginning to glimpse. And humanity? We're standing at the threshold of that transformation right now. Artificial intelligence is advancing at an exponential pace. Quantum computing is moving from theory to reality. We're decoding the human genome. We're merging biological minds with digital systems. We are, quite literally, on the verge of becoming something more than human. But the galaxy is asking a single, devastatingly simple question. Will we become better, or will we destroy ourselves along the way? The signal from 3i/Atlas feels like both a warning and an invitation. A warning that we are being observed, that our choices matter, not just for Earth, but for the entire cosmic ecosystem of consciousness. A species that annihilates itself. A civilization that uses its power for domination instead of understanding. An intelligence that evolves without wisdom. Such a species becomes a liability, a cancer in the galactic body. The quarantine exists to protect others from us, but also to protect us from forces we are not yet prepared to encounter. And yet, embedded within the signal is something else. A pathway, a set of instructions. If we can solve the challenges presented, if we can demonstrate growth beyond our primitive instincts, the quarantine can be lifted. Access would be granted. Knowledge that could transform our civilization overnight. Energy without scarcity. Disease without suffering. Aging without decay. Even death itself, redefined. But only if we prove ourselves worthy. Only if we show that we've evolved beyond tribalism, violence, greed, and short-sighted thinking. I've studied the tests embedded in the signal. I can tell you with absolute certainty, no single human can solve them. No nation can solve them. These challenges require global cooperation on a scale humanity has never achieved. They demand that we stop thinking as Americans or Chinese, Europeans or Africans. They require us to think as humans, as one species, with one shared future. And honestly, when I look at the current state of our world, I'm not sure we're capable of that. But perhaps that's the point. Perhaps the test isn't about technical mastery at all. Perhaps the real test is whether we can overcome our own nature, whether our consciousness can evolve fast enough to meet the moment. If we succeed, we prove we're ready to join the galactic community. If we fail, the quarantine may be mercy, a way to allow us to collapse inward without contaminating the rest of the universe. I can't stop thinking about the civilizations marked on that map. Hundreds of points of light scattered across the galaxy. I wonder about their histories. Did they struggle the way we are struggling now? Did they face similar tests? Did some of them fail? Are there dead worlds out there? Planets filled with ruins, silent cities, rusting machines? Monuments to civilizations that reached incredible technological heights, but never made the leap to wisdom? Or perhaps some are still in quarantine, like us. Still learning, still trying, still proving themselves. Maybe the galaxy is patient. Maybe the countdown isn't a doomsday clock, but a checkpoint. Maybe failure doesn't mean extinction, just more time. I want to believe that. But the urgency of the signal suggests otherwise. Its perfection feels final, like a last notice. What happens if we ignore it? What if we dismiss this as another anomaly, another curiosity to be archived and forgotten? Then the quarantine continues. Indefinitely. We remain isolated while the rest of the galaxy moves forward, exploring realities we can't even imagine. We become a footnote in the cosmic record, a species with potential, but without fulfillment. Intelligent enough to ask profound questions, yet not wise enough to answer them. Still, I haven't lost hope. I've seen what humanity can achieve when we're at our best. The Large Hadron Collider, the International Space Station, the Human Genome Project, global collaborations that transcended borders and ideologies. I've seen compassion emerge in moments of crisis. I've seen art transcend language. I've seen ordinary people display extraordinary courage. We have greatness within us. The question is whether we can access it, together, before time runs out. The team analyzing the signal has identified specific challenges. One requires solving a quantum computing problem beyond any system we currently possess, suggesting we must accelerate our technological evolution. Another involves creating a planetary communication network based on quantum entanglement, enabling instantaneous coordination across Earth. A third may be the most profound of all. We are asked to create an artificial intelligence that is genuinely conscious, not merely advanced programming, but true subjective experience, and then to treat that consciousness ethically. To prove we understand that consciousness is sacred, regardless of its form. These are not just engineering problems. They are moral trials. They test whether we can create power without being consumed by it, whether we can birth intelligence without enslaving it, whether we can explore the quantum depths of reality without losing ourselves. They are asking us to become responsible cosmic citizens before we're allowed to leave our planetary cradle. I think about my grandchildren, the world they'll inherit, and I struggle with what to tell them. Do I tell them their generation may join the galactic community? Or warn them that humanity's greatest opportunity may slip away? Some nights, I stand beneath the stars and imagine what's truly out there. Not a cold, lifeless universe, but a living cosmos humming with awareness. And somewhere among those stars, something is watching, waiting. The signal from 3I/Atlas continues to repeat every 14 hours, perfectly synchronized with Earth's rotation, ensuring every major observatory has a chance to receive it, as if they are making absolutely certain we cannot ignore it. The message is unmistakable. You are not alone. You are being evaluated. Your time is limited. There is one detail about the signal that I haven't shared yet, because even among my colleagues, it's the part that unsettles us the most. The transmission from 3I/Atlas doesn't behave like a broadcast sent blindly into space. It behaves like a conversation, not a dialogue in words, but a responsive system, one that changes subtly over time. As we attempt to solve parts of the embedded problems, the signal adjusts. As we fail, it simplifies. As we hesitate, it repeats. It's adaptive, which means this isn't a message recorded long ago and flung across the stars. This is something ongoing, something active, something aware of us in real time, or close enough that the difference no longer matters. That realization alone should shake you, because it means the galaxy isn't just watching humanity as a whole. It may be observing our patterns, our conflicts, our cooperation, our fears, our moments of insight, almost like a living diagnostic of a species in transition. One of the mathematicians on our team said something I can't get out of my head. He said, "This doesn't feel like first contact. It feels like a progress review." Think about that. Not an introduction, not a greeting, but an evaluation. as if we've been part of this system all along, unaware that the exam had already begun. The more we studied the structure of the signal, the clearer it became that intelligence in the universe doesn't emerge randomly. It follows stages, predictable phases, almost like a life cycle. First comes biological intelligence, fragile, emotional, divided. Then technological intelligence, powerful, unstable, accelerating faster than wisdom can keep up. Then the most dangerous stage of all, the transition. That narrow window where a species gains the ability to reshape reality before it gains the maturity to restrain itself. That's where civilizations either ascend or erase themselves. And that's exactly where we are now. When we overlaid humanity's current technological trajectory onto the models implied by the signal, the alignment was chilling. Nuclear capability, artificial intelligence, climate manipulation, genetic engineering, autonomous weapons, all appearing within a microscopic slice of cosmic time. The signal seems to be asking one core question over and over again. Can this species survive its own intelligence? History doesn't give us much confidence. We still divide ourselves by borders drawn by forgotten wars. We still justify violence through ideology. We still confuse dominance with strength, accumulation with success, noise with meaning. And yet, despite all of that, we are also capable of extraordinary compassion. That contradiction may be what makes us interesting. One philosopher on the team suggested something radical. He believes quarantine isn't punishment, it's protection during adolescence. A kind of cosmic firewall, preventing young civilizations from being overwhelmed or exploited before they're ready. If that's true, then the galaxy isn't indifferent. It's cautious, which raises an even more unsettling possibility. What happens to civilizations that fail the test? The signal doesn't show them disappearing in explosions or cataclysms. Instead, their markers on the galactic map fade slowly. Their communication nodes go silent. Their presence becomes irrelevant. They don't get destroyed. They get left behind. Imagine advancing far enough to glimpse the larger universe, only to be locked out forever, watching from a distance as others move on, evolve, connect, transcend. A permanent quarantine, not because of malice, but because of incompatibility. That, to me, is more terrifying than extinction, because extinction ends suffering. Isolation doesn't. There's another layer to the test that we're only beginning to understand. It appears that consciousness itself may act as a signal, not electromagnetic, not physical, but informational, something that propagates through the quantum structure of reality. In other words, the way a species thinks may literally shape how visible it is to the universe. Violence, fear, and domination create noise. Cooperation, empathy, and curiosity create coherence. Advanced civilizations don't just build better machines. They tune their collective consciousness until it resonates with the deeper architecture of reality. That resonance may be what allows them to access higher dimensions of existence, to manipulate space-time, to communicate instantaneously across impossible distances. If that's true, then the test isn't happening in laboratories alone. It's happening in every conversation, every decision, every moment of restraint or cruelty. The signal doesn't demand perfection. It demands direction. Are we moving toward integration or fragmentation? Are we expanding awareness or amplifying fear? This reframes everything. It means that how we treat each other matters on a cosmic scale. That empathy isn't just moral, it's evolutionary. That cooperation may be the most advanced technology of all. Some nights, I imagine the moment the countdown reaches zero. I imagine observatories around the world watching the data streams. Scientists holding their breath. No explosions. No ships appearing in the sky. Just a shift. A door opening, or quietly remaining closed. And humanity either feels it or doesn't. If the window opens and we're ready, contact may not come as visitors landing on the White House lawn. It may come as understanding, as sudden clarity, as access to knowledge we didn't even know how to ask for. And if we're not ready, nothing dramatic happens, which may be the most devastating outcome of all. Life continues. Wars continue. Distractions continue. And the universe moves on without us. Not as a scientist delivering conclusions, but as a human raising an alarm. Because whether you believe this story literally or symbolically doesn't matter. The message is the same. We are at a crossroads. Our intelligence has outpaced our wisdom. Our power has outgrown our maturity. And time, cosmic time, is no longer patient. You don't need to solve equations to participate in this moment. You don't need a telescope or a laboratory. You need awareness. Choose cooperation when division is easier. Choose curiosity when fear is louder. Choose responsibility when power tempts you. Because if consciousness truly is the currency of the universe, then every one of us is contributing, whether we realize it or not. That's why I'm speaking now. The signal from 3I/Atlas continues. The countdown advances. And somewhere beyond our perception, an ancient network of minds is waiting to see whether we take our first real step into adulthood or retreat back into the noise.